All right, we're set now for the final lap of the program. For the next 12 minutes, we'll go back to Arepo village in town here, southwest Nigeria. Let's recap what happened over the weekend. For you, a battle between some pipeline vandals and members of the Odua People's Congress, otherwise known as an OPC, left a woman dead and 4 others hit by stray bullets. We brought that report to you here on Channels Television over the weekend. We got an amateur video clip that showed what happened by an eyewitness who reported the gun battle showing the militants go heading to the oil pipelines through the Arepo Creek, and the villagers had been in mourning. The grieving residents of the estate shared a report here on Channels Television, but now we want to flesh this up for you as we start a brand new business week for you. And joining us live now in the studio to talk about the Arepo village story is Alhaji Abdul Majid Abdul Fattah, who is the president of the Arepo Community Development Association. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you.
Early Monday morning to talk to us. Give us about a minute to recap what happened over the weekend. How bad was the situation when it happened a couple of days ago?
Actually, what happened on that day was that there was the previous day, there was a problem between the OPC and some of those they suspected at a place called Jima Kisanya. Information now got to the vandals. The vandals came. There was this tipper in front of them which they used as a shield. And then this woman was just coming in. They were actually going towards, there is a security post towards the creek. They were moving towards the security post where the OPC were. The woman was coming behind the tipper without knowing that the vandals were on their way. Of course, by the time the shield was away, the woman was actually shot at the throat, and she couldn't survive it. And that barrister Fajana passed on. And that
she was a lawyer.
She was a lawyer. She was a lawyer. In fact, married last year. The pregnancy, the first one, was just 6 months.
So it was a pregnant woman,
yes,
a legal practitioner that was shot dead. But this was not the first time, was it, that the pipeline vendors had been coming around your community in Arepo?
Yeah, but this is not the first time. Of course, in recent time, it has not been as frequent, because really the pipeline is not in Arepo. Is towards the Korodu, but because they've now been facing challenges at the other side with the naval rating, that is why they are now moving towards
your community,
the community
as an entry point,
as an entry
to gain access.
The fact they do not even enter through; they will come through the creek, and then there is a security post at Arepo where majority of it wasn't the OPC before. It was there was another security outfit who were taking care of it before the pipeline. So, but that post is in Arepo. So invariably, anytime they want to attack, they come towards the pipe post, and that is why Arepo has actually been coming into the news. Otherwise, the pipeline itself is towards the Korodu, not in Arepo. But this issue of the crossfire was because the post where the security agents are is located in Arepo. One of them.
The Odua People's Congress, who contracted them to provide the security, this is your area where you've lived for a number of years. Talk to us about the security. On the side of the Korodu, you have the naval ratings, but on this side, you have the Odua People's Congress.
The Odua have just been, okay, fortunately, sometimes last month, that the federal government, quote and unquote, on the pages of dailies, were said to have engaged the Odua. The Odua are just coming into the scene. Therefore, it has been maintained by the civil defense, by the police, and so on and so forth. It's only now that the Odua Congress are just coming in. So they've never been there before. But they are coming in, perhaps they use their own approach, which is creating problem between them and the vandals. Unfortunately, our community members are caught, we are the crossfire in between what was going between two of them.
So, how do you proceed from here in the community? You are the president of that community. What measures are you now putting in place to prevent further loss to human lives as well as to property? Because this has happened, most likely it will happen again.
Thank you very much. One, of course, each of the estates, we have 18 estates aside from the community, the indigenous, we have 18 communities, and each of these communities has its own security apparatus. But you agree with me that none of these security agents can face the vandals because they were not sent in the first instance to do that. It is the duty of the federal government and the NNPC to ensure that these people are actually checked. They are not allowed to come to Arepo. In our own case, all our estates are well manned, and we have our meetings where we take decisions on anything that has to do with security, and we relate regularly with the police post at Ibafo, as well as the one very close to Wariwa here. They've been and that is why the community has been providing a lot of things, even for the police. Of recent, we gave them a bus, which was given to the one at Wariwa here. But the challenge really is a question of the government. Our own security cannot handle the vandals, and they don't have any problem with the vandals anyway. But this economic saboteur must be taken care of, must be taken headlong by the federal government, so that they are not allowed to stray into our own community or come to fight within our community. It is they are coming from the battlefront to face the security located right inside our community that is creating the problem. We believe if the government, just as they've done in the Korodu end, if they can also ensure that there is a check, the security is also placed towards Arepo, and they move the security post, which is now within the community. As a matter of fact, it is because the security post is within the community. That's why when there is a clash between the vandals and those who protect the pipeline, it has always been a problem with the community. For instance, sometimes last year, we had almost 2 stray bullets at a place called Palm View Estate. But thank God that one did not kill any life. We reported to the police as well. So we are appealing that the security post should be moved further, so that whenever there is any clash between the vandals and those protecting it, our community members will not be caught. And in addition to that, we also we are again appealing to the government to ensure, because the environmental pollution, that damage, sometimes when it happens, you will see that the whole air is just filled with the fume coming from the pipeline. Yes, and it's a serious threat to the community.
A very interesting human story with business and economic ramifications. You're telling us here. We have just about 2 minutes left. How have the residents of this community been able to sleep at night, wake up in the morning, send children to school, and go out early in the morning, 4 o'clock, 5 a.m. in the morning, for those who work in the metropolitan court, Lagos, and perhaps others? How have you been able to cope on a daily basis, living through this kind of a form of a terror, as it were, between the security forces, both private and public on one side, and the pipeline vendors who are determined to continue to commit economic sabotage with the pipeline?
Well, we continue to manage, and that's why we are appealing. If it's a question of sending an SOS that our lives are threatened. Each time you leave, you just be praying that, oh God, may nothing bad happen before I return. And even when you return back home, you see your family, the relatives calling you. I've read about Arepo. It's not Arepo, the community. It's actually an external issue brought into Arepo. And that is why we are appealing to the government to ensure that they protect the economic interests of Nigeria. They protect our own lives also.
All right. We appreciate your time for coming on the program this morning. We hope to have more time to speak with you in the future. Alhaji Abdul Majid Abdul Fattah, who is the head of the Arepo Community Development Association in Ogun State, Southwest Nigeria. And on that story, we wrap up today's edition of Business Morning. I am Bosin Amafaye. Bye for now. I'll see you next time. Next news track is next here on Business on Channels Television. We keep